Welcome back, guys, to Past the Pop Culture. Today's episode, Season 2, Episode 16, is going to be about nothing else besides pretty much Doctor Strange. I think we kind of just want to go through and, kind of break things down, how we kind of felt about the movie, kind of like what we think they did right, what we think they did wrong, kind of give our general review. So this is going to be spoilers since we are going to go in depth. So I do want to let you guys know ahead of time that this is spoilers talk. If you want to know what our recommendation is, I'd give it like a good 7.5 out of 10. I don't know about you, Fen.
I give it like an 8.
Say yeah. It was good. Very divisive. I will have to admit, you're either gonna like it or you're not. I think that's pretty much it. You're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. That's the kind of movie this is, unfortunately. I would. It's still better than Eternals, so
anything's better than Eternals.
So yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to go see it because there's a lot of interesting stuff. That took place this movie without getting into spoilers. But so yeah, so now that's giving that a little bit of that breathing room
spoiler time.
Yeah. So now spoiler talk, but actually I do want to talk about something though before we kind of get into that. Is because I brought this up like literally right before we started this, was that what is the feelings towards this Avatar 2 movie?
I had no interest watching that trailer, to be honest.
I saw the trailer because they dropped the trailer, and because I typically try to avoid trailers. I think for the most part, I feel like 90% of the movie's spoiled by watching a trailer half the time. So when I saw this, I was like, it felt kind of almost like it's going to be a rehashing of the first one. Slightly different.
I don't know about that.
I feel like
it felt more like a showcase. Like, hey, I can still make cool looking movies. Because there's no dialogue except for like one sentence, and then they're just showing water and like them living or something. I don't know even how to describe this trailer.
I understood because I remember, of course, everyone I'm listening to this probably they probably saw it in theaters, right? I think most of us saw it in theaters. It was a cool movie at the time, and it was really interesting. I never really, I guess because maybe I was so young, I never really felt like it was groundbreaking or anything. But it sold a lot of tickets, and it was the highest grossing movie ever until I think
long time.
Infinity War, Endgame, or something like that. Yep. One of those took it over. But I never particularly enjoyed the movie. I never thought it was the craziest thing ever. Oh yes, this is the height of cinema, in the 2010s or whenever this came out. When did Avatar come out? I'm actually kind of curious.
Was it 2010? I was still in high school.
Avatar.
The Last Airbender. It was the highest grossing film ever made.
Dude, that Avatar the Airbender. Oh, 2009. Came out in 2009. Yeah. Okay, at the time, yes, 2009. Yeah, that was crazy impressive.
But I think that's why it sold so much, because that was a huge new thing in every aspect, CGI, the technology they used. That was a huge leaping stone.
The technological leaps that came from this movie, yes. But in terms of just general storytelling, I just thought it was okay. I never was yes, this is cinema. It never made me kind of you know what I mean?
I mean, they made out with each other with their hair, so it's
yeah,
or whatever those tentacle things.
Hey, that long ago, and then they're doing it now.
I wonder why.
We need new ideas. It's because we have nothing else to make. Everything's too safe when it comes to movies now, so they gotta rehash everything out.
But how are they gonna make that safe? I don't know. Watching the trailer and then seeing tall blue people, it kind of weirded me out. It's this is just a skinny, tall Smurf.
You're just a skinny, tall white man with blue painting on you. This ain't nothing special. No, yeah, but I don't know. I just I don't really have opinion in terms of like whether it should or shouldn't come out, because everyone like wanted a sequel, but it's like, it's been over 10 years. My guy.
Over 10 years, and then this trailer didn't make anybody want to be like, oh yes, finally it's coming out this year.
I think everyone's like, really? That's coming out? I think it kind of like confused everyone. Like, I don't know. I think the thing is, it's like when this movie is like gonna have to kind of compete with like Marvel and all the other movies coming out, that it may just like, oh, okay. I don't think it's gonna do as well.
Because it comes out December, right? Yeah, December. So what's coming out in December? Like Black Adam and all that. So Shazam. So it has to compete with like more highly anticipated movies.
Yeah, I kind of just.
I'll use my free ticket on that one. How about that? That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
I definitely won't go out of my way.
I do want to know, like, what's the general attitude? Like, if someone drops a comment or anything on the YouTube, like, I kind of want to know, like, are you guys excited for Avatar? Because I'm kind of not. I can take it or leave it kind of thing. Like, if it didn't come out, I wouldn't cry. If it does come out, I'll go watch it and review it and be like, all right, like, but it's not something like I absolutely needed.
What's the title? Sure, Avatar: The Way of Water? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Water Tribe.
Yeah. Firebenders.
So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting because we got a lot of trailers. But what's that other one? The Jordan Peele movie?
Nope. I'm hyped for that.
Yeah,
one.
Nope. I was like, wait, what? I was like, did I get it wrong?
The title is Nope. Sorry.
Yeah, the title is Nope. No. I was just like, yeah, I do want to see that one. That one piqued my interest.
That scares me. I hate that.
That one, yeah, that does look scary, but yeah, well, I'm kind of tempted to like just like go like this to the movie theater and just okay, don't get scared.
I'm definitely gonna bring a blanket
because that like
easy. Just like that short clip of the alien thing, like you could barely see its forehead. I was like, oh heck no, like I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
Signs still terrifies me, so it's like this is gonna be the new Signs for me probably.
Signs, yeah, dude. Signs is such a good movie, dude. Signs is so good. I kind of want to rewatch that, dude.
We did like earlier this year, no, last year actually.
Yeah, well, that was my first time watching it.
Oh shoot, that's right.
When I watched it with you guys, yeah, that was the first time. But Signs is a good movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd 100% recommend. It's like
it's very old, but
yeah, it has Joaquin Phoenix. It has
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel Gibson, and but it's a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It's not an action. It's not War of the Worlds or anything like that, but
another good movie.
It's pretty good. I wouldn't call it a classic actually, but it's definitely
spooky.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But to get into the actual meat and potatoes of today's episode. So we have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I found it not to be much of a multiverse. Like I kind of left, like my brother too. Like he was
only like 2 universes.
He was kind of like that. Was like
that's it.
2 multiverses, and then like you kind of go through like a handful.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I think. I think everyone was kind of underwhelmed because if you look at the title, right? Like everyone was like, "Oh, the Multiverse of Madness,"
but
and
it is multiverse, not plural. So I don't know. What's the plural multiverse? Multiverse.
Yeah. Multiverses. Yeah, I think especially because you saw the cast. We got back Patrick Stewart. You had Bruce Campbell. You had oh man, I forgot Peggy Carter, but the actress, I can't remember her name. But you had a lot of people reprising roles and stuff like that. Of course, we got Mr. Fantastic and
Noodle Boy.
My boy was literally. My boy's turned into cheese.
I saw a comment. This. Because I think it was IGN on their Twitter, and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I learned how to make blue noodles." It's just a bowl of blue noodles. I was like, "Oh, that's a good sneaky way to spoil a movie."
That's terrible.
They did him dirty. They did all the cameos dirty, to be honest.
Yeah, I was like, kind of in awe. I guess kind of like the way that I came into this movie and anticipated it. My theory was that Wanda was going to help Doctor Strange. That's the kind of way they made it kind of seem like it. And then it was going to be like the evil Doctor Strange or like a rogue Doctor Strange that was like because they even mentioned it, right? Like, oh, he destroyed other universes and like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought like there was going to be something like that where, you know, he needs help and he's going to call on Wanda or something. And because I really didn't like the idea of making Wanda the villain. I wasn't really like too keen on that. I mean, it just was like because I enjoyed the movie for what it was and what it is. I just think that the problem with it, of course, was that the hype around the movie. I think if we're talking externally, the hype around the movie was just a little too much, right? Everyone was like, Spider-Man's gonna be in it. We're gonna see the Hulk, Fantastic Four, X-Men reveal,
Wolverine. Robert Downey, what's his name? Tom Hanks? No, not Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
Yeah, we're gonna get the superior Iron Man or whatever. We're gonna see Ultron. We're gonna see maybe even Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, Morbius tie-in. You know, we were gonna see, you know, all these. I think it was just too much. Like people were like way overblowing this because especially since pretty much all the hype built up for No Way Home was exceeded. People were like, oh, Multiverse of Madness, this is it, this is right here. And then everyone came in and they're like, where's my hype? And I think that's what happened, is that everyone got on the hype train and everyone was saying, get off the hype train, that's not what's going to happen here. And especially because the movie even began filming before WandaVision came out, before No Way Home and all this stuff. So how would I mean, unless they just knew right off the bat that that's what Kevin Feige like wanted to do right off the bat before he even probably got to the point of like knowing what he wanted to do. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'd have to go back in time into his own multiverse to figure out how to make this movie better. But the thing I think is just like mainly people just needed to like relax when it came to this movie. I think some people are overhyping the movie up and like how good it was, and then some people are like, oh no, this is bad, this is a terrible movie, Sam Raimi sucks and this and that. I'm like, it's not that bad.
That's too far.
I'm like, that's a stretch. Either way, no pun intended, rip Mr. Fantastic. But rest in peace.
I don't know. I think the hype for this movie for me died when Morbius came out. And like after seeing Morbius and then this movie coming out, I was like, it's gonna be an okay movie. I mean, I am surprised on how decent it was. I do like how they kind of harped on the spookiness of it, because it definitely was very dark.
Yeah, this was probably the darkest
Marvel movie
to date. And what I appreciated that at the very beginning of the movie, they made that clear, right? Especially with the first fight. With like one of the demons that, you know, they just ripped out his eye basically, and then it was like, okay, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a different Marvel movie than what we're used to getting. And I think that's why it's kind of divisive too, because a lot of people were kind of expecting maybe the same tone, and something that I felt was very forced in to a lot of the dialogue was like those kind of like quips and stuff. And it was just like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit that the tone of the movie, it just doesn't fit.
I see.
When they were kind of like, oh, you know, just saying like a quip here and there. And then
that's Marvel.
And then it was just like, you know, everyone's dying, dude. Like, you know, you can't, like, the multiverse is at stake. You come back down. Nailed it. And it's like, bro, you literally are sending all these people to their death. Like, I
did it.
It was like, I don't know, like, yeah, it just kind of made me feel like I was like the tone of maybe what Sam Raimi was going for versus like, I don't know if he wrote it. Who wrote the movie? I don't think he wrote it.
No, he directed it after like 1,000 years of not doing anything.
Yeah, so yeah, I think he just directed it only. But the point being is that I kind of like just felt like what was going on screen versus like what was actually like the intentions behind some of the dialogue just kind of felt a little off. Like it was just like
But that's typical Marvel, though. Like, I feel like they probably say
true.
every 3 sentences equals one minor joke.
Yeah, but it just was like the movie was dark, and I liked it for that.
Exactly,
and it was trying to be, and I was trying to be something else, and I think it was a good direction. It's just that they didn't want to let go of like that Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, quip here and there, and
they should.
like buddy kind of like thing. I'm like dude, like WandaVision. Sorry, Wanda's destroying the multiverse here. Like it's not a joke time.
Yeah, like she's literally killing everyone.
Yeah, it's like I kind of felt like it was kind of like one of those comic books where it's like, oh, like blah 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 kills the Avengers or the multiverse, or it felt kind of like one of those like what if things, where it was like, hey, what if this person became super crazy and decided to kill everyone in the Marvel universe, or you know what I mean? Like it kind of felt like that. I liked Wanda. Like I think, like in terms of like the acting and everything for the character, I think turned out really well. Elizabeth Olsen, I think, did a really good job. I just felt like sometimes the dialogue felt a little like I said, like it just wasn't lining up. She's like, I'm trying to be reasonable here. I'm grieving and blah blah blah, and everyone's like, haha. But quip, and then it's just like it's like, dude, like she's like, it just kind of felt like we were kind of like it was just cheesy dialogue in between her like actually like acting, and then it was just kind of like, oh, but the dialogue, yeah, I don't want to hark on that too much, but I don't know, it just kind of felt like that was one of the main things that kind of made it cringe for me, like at certain parts where it kind of just brought me out, where it was like, hey, yeah, she's like, because she killed all these people, but in between all that, it was just like kind of I don't know. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of left a sour taste in their mouth watching that.
No fun allowed.
Yeah, no, we want a serious movie. Yeah,
but it makes sense, because if they have,
you need a balance.
Yeah,
you need a balance of light and dark
Yeah.
tones. But when it's just like something dark's happening,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
can't let it get too dark, then it's like they have to add in like that quip to remind you, like, hey, no, it's not that serious, man. Yeah, she snapped Professor X's neck, but
put your kid back in that chair. Come back. It's fine.
Yeah, I would not. I don't know if I would have taken a kid to see this movie. That was the thing.
It definitely pushed the PG-13.
It did push PG-13, and at sometimes I was like, man, I wonder what they actually wrote in, and then that was probably rated R, and they had
it should have been rated R. 100% should have been rated R. I think if it was rated R, the movie would have been a lot better.
I think, yeah, because what like, especially like when Peggy Carter gets sliced. They do like a harsh cut.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that harsh cut, because it seemed like there was more to it. Exactly. And they just had to cut it like that, because there was a lot of scenes where some of the action or something looked more violent or gruesome, but it looked like it got cut, and they just like did a direct like it was, because that when that happened, when she got hit, was just a hard cut. Like whoever edited that just hard cut it, and then like just went off and like was like, oh yeah, no, here's her face instead. And I was just like, whoa, like, because like you can tell like the way that she did it, you were supposed to see it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like the way that like you're like the whole way that it just was like filmed and like everything, it just felt like you were supposed to see like, oh, she actually got hit, because like it followed her all the way into the point that it hit her, and then it just like cut to her face. And I just felt like, yeah, there's probably some finessing around with like some of the footage to keep it PG-13, because some of like the ways that.
But why they show like why they show Black Bolt brain, getting.
But it didn't. But you see, it just went boom. It didn't like. You know what I mean? Like. So it kind of just like bulged and was like, all right. Like I think that's like was fine. But again, like I think like certain things like the way that they took out Mr. Fantastic and all that was kind of fine, because it was almost kind of like cartoony in the way, and also like because I noticed like a complaint was like the CGI, but I think they kind of had to make the CGI like that, because if it was too realistic, it would fall into the rated R category, and that's what I think happened too. But there was some rough CGI in this, right? Especially when Wanda was getting out of like the mirror, or they were doing the reflections when they had to cover all the reflections, and she was able to get through.
Oh,
I think
okay,
she went through something, and then so she was all like crooked. Like that was rough CGI that they had, and I was kind of like, oof, that was rough CGI creepy, right there. Like,
you know, it could have been.
Yeah, it was creepy, but yeah, it had. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I thought the CGI was fine, like 90% of the time. Like, I think it was fine. It was like that scene. And then there's like one or two other ones where it felt a little like, wait, what? But for the most part, like I'm not a big like CGI enthusiast, I guess, or I don't know. Like it's not. I usually don't pick on the movie too much unless it's just like a complete whiplash. What I kind of felt like when like she was crawling out of the thing. But I thought like a lot of the artistic choices were really good though. Like you know, I think it was really trippy, the movie. And it just felt so different from a regular Marvel movie. And I think that's why it's divisive too. It's different from a regular Marvel movie altogether. And I don't know, it just was, I don't know, for me, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I know that there's some people out there that are just absolutely ripping it apart. There's definitely problems with it, but I don't think it's like, you know, Sam Raimi should just like give up ever filming again, like how some people.
Yeah,
he
did fine. I mean, it's like, it's his style. Like, if you didn't like his other movies, you're not gonna like this movie.
Yeah,
so, it's like you can't really harp him for that.
Yeah, and definitely like, and that's what a lot of people were saying, that it felt outdated, and it was just, oh, this is a Sam Raimi movie, it's outdated, and blah blah blah, and I'm like
duh.
I don't know, like I don't know. For me, like it doesn't really like. I don't know, like that doesn't really like bother me. Like if it feels like, oh, outdated and blah blah blah, and I'm just like,
you're outdated. That's what you should tell them.
And it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, it's taste at that point, you know. It's just taste.
That's just nitpicking.
Yeah. It's just this movie though. I think it just. I think the hype just killed it. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I think because it's a Marvel movie, everyone's just gonna hate it to be like unique. I think you know,
to
like
be
some people are
to be different.
Some people are like hating on certain aspects of it or not agreeing to be like, oh, you know, you like that? Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like, all right, dude, like it's fine. Like it
was all right. I guess it's because of how Marvel is like usually is. I just don't understand what this movie has to do with the grand scheme of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, some people, I mean, yes, it is setting up like Secret Wars or whatever and blah blah blah. Or was it House of M or whatever it's called? Like, I don't really know too much about that stuff, but that's what people have been saying basically. That's what it's setting up. I didn't like that they kind of killed off Wanda. Like they kind of like, you know, quote unquote, you know, took her out.
Don't know.
I didn't like the ending. That was like my main gripe with the movie. I think that's just the best way to describe it. It's like that the end of the movie just like fell apart. I think that's why maybe a lot of people. But that's the thing. I see people complain about that a lot less. Is the ending? I just didn't agree with the ending.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they pulled a kind of like, you know, a Naruto Shippuden where they made Madara too powerful. And then they're like, how are we going to kill him? And then like, how are they going to beat him? And then so they just had to like come like pull something out and like, oh, but you know, there's this god. But, you know, except for her that they made her like realize like, oh no, she's a monster.
I hate when movies do that. Like I understand why they did that, but it's just like, what's the whole point then? Like,
yeah, because I don't like that because it feels like the whole journey up to that point was just worthless.
Yeah, and then instantly she's like, never mind.
And then I'm just like, you know, there's infinite multiverses. You know, I saw someone comment this, and I don't know who did it. You know, it was just a random comment, and it's like, why didn't she just find a multiverse where they were orphaned, and she just takes care of them?
I mean, then what's the whole point of the movie?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Like Doctor Strange could have said, okay, but if you're gonna do this, we're gonna help you, but we're gonna find one where they're orphaned, right? So that
I think they said that in all the universes she has, or the kids have the mother in like all the universes. Because remember, she was looking for one, I think. But even then, it's like,
Okay.
well, doesn't matter. But I guess like the whole incursion, if you kill, I don't know, the
Yeah, it
multiverses
was
are
just
confusing.
but I remember like some people were saying stuff like that, or it was just
There's
like
plot holes. That's what it is.
there's plot holes into this, but that's the thing. You're dealing with multiverse. You're dealing with
Yeah,
time and space, and
there's no
there is
rules.
going to be plot holes that are like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a second. But that one did kind of get me interested. Like, okay, so there's no universe where Wanda died trying to protect or something like that, or
Nope.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't. Like, there's just I felt like some of the reasoning, like like I mean, I understood Wanda's reasoning for a lot of the stuff, but like I felt like they could have just worked things out a lot differently. I don't know, like it just kind of felt like
Well, no,
the
because
conflict.
okay, you seen WandaVision, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so I don't think that whole show justified her all of a sudden going crazy and wanting her kids to the extent of
but
becoming a
remember,
bad guy.
yeah, yeah, because
And
Sam Raimi didn't watch WandaVision. Remember that he didn't see
exactly,
it because he
exactly.
by the time he started on the movie and everything, he just didn't have the time to
He's like,
watch
wait,
it.
Wanda, who's
So
that?
yeah, so I think that's what happened. I think it's just there's too many rewrites for the movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's what happened with the movie. They had to take things out, add things in, and then some people were saying like the movie was supposed to be longer, which you can definitely tell that, right? Especially when they're in the other universe. There's
Yeah.
definitely like a oh okay yeah now we're doing this, and it was just like what like
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of felt like there were certain times in the movie where I felt like there was supposed to be a little bit more,
Yep.
but they just kind of like especially with some of the rough cuts in the movie, it just kind of felt like they were just kind of like trying to shrink things down a little
Yeah,
bit,
like we got to get this
or
movie out now.
yeah, like that's what it kind of felt like. But
Mm-hmm.
I think for the most part, again, it's a good movie. I give it like again seven and a half out of 10. I don't think it's the worst Marvel movie ever in existence,
Could be
like
better
some
though,
people are
to
claiming,
be honest.
but could definitely be better. The writing could have been a lot better, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit tighter. It was just I think it was in a bad tough spot because of everything that's going on with the pandemic, and then you have so
Yeah,
many
but
things like the rewrites, and they had to redo a lot of the scenes like literally like a month before
yeah,
the movie
like
was supposed
literally
to come
weeks.
out. We were talking about that, like they
Yeah,
redid some of the scenes, and I bet some of that stuff didn't even make it into the movie.
which is
And I
like
think it was
why.
just I think it just had a troubled sight, like just trying to get out the door. And so I think that's where it really, really struggled, because you
But
can
see,
definitely tell like there
that's
was
why
some
I think
struggle
Marvel's in
there.
trouble because they had to do a bunch of rewrites for Morbius. They had to fix that movie
Hmm.
up, and then even for No Way Home, they had to do like a few reshoots. And then this one comes out, and they had to like change everything again. So it's like either they're trying to play catch up, or there's just things that are like not aligning, or they're changing things on the fly.
Hmm.
And so it's like their next move, they don't know it themselves. Like, cause like I
So
know,
do you think?
like
So do you
Guardians of the
think like
Galaxy finished.
after Endgame, you feel like, oh shoot, it kind of like they
Yeah,
didn't have
like
enough
yeah,
of a game
exactly.
plan?
Because they're okay,
Because
and
that,
they're already thinking
yeah.
about phase. What is it, like 5 or 6 or whatever? I don't know what phase we're on.
Hmm.
They're already thinking of the next phase, so like they should know how this next phase ends, but they're still changing it.
I mean, it could be that they know what they want for this phase. It's just that because they're planning out the next few phases, they're like, oh shoot, what about this? What about that?
But like, why even
And
like try to work on the next stuff when they're constantly changing now? Because like Doctor Strange could have been a way better movie, but since they're like, wait, this doesn't add up to this movie, let's change this and then take this out, move this, move that, blah 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 blah. Let's push the movies back. Because like all these movies keep getting moved around, and it's it seems like Marvel's freaking out right now.
huh.
Because this movie was supposed to already be out,
Hmm.
so and they delayed it
This movie is supposed to get out
like at least a month earlier than it was now
they
or
put
last
yeah
Friday.
they pushed it, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's supposed
exactly.
to come out earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they pushed it. But I just don't know like what's really going on behind the scenes that kind of like caused this stuff. So it's like we can only really speculate, because they're not going to be like, oh yeah, no, because we're doing this rewrite because we're going to want to do this in the future. Like they can't be like
I don't
they can't just like
know.
let that out. But I don't know. Like it just I don't know. It just felt kind of weird that like we got Professor X, we got Mr. Fantastic, we got
but they killed them off.
Yeah, and so and then they just kind of like leave that world, like where like, and then like so because I thought that Earth was going to become more important.
Exactly.
You know, like I thought there was. I don't know. Maybe it is, but like I felt like, oh, we're spending all this time in this Earth. Like, is this going to be like kind of like another multiverse where we're going to be setting up the movies and stuff? Because I thought, oh, they were just going to go straight up into like, oh yeah, no, Fantastic Four and the X-Men exist in this world. So that, and then if we were going to get Fantastic Four and X-Men movies, it was going to take place in this world, right? Because the main one, the main Marvel Cinematic Universe is, or was it Earth 616 in this one, right? That's what they said. So, and then I forgot what the other world we went to was, like Earth 8.
Just with an 8. Something? I don't remember the number,
813, 833, something like that. But like, I just thought that it was gonna have like a little more meaning. Like maybe it is. Maybe they're gonna be like, oh no, our heroes died because of this guy from.
I mean, the incursion. Maybe they're putting all their chips into this incursion, right? Especially because the introduction of the end credit scene. What's her name? Oh gosh, Circa, whatever, the girl.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, because Doctor Strange is supposed to die. So maybe this universe that incursion happens is where all the new characters are going to come out. But
you see, because I thought they were going to set up like the Ultimate Universe kind of thing more. Like I thought we were going to get to see kind of more like Ultimate Universe, and then maybe kind of like do the whole incursion thing that way or whatever. But I don't know. I really didn't know how they're going to do this now, because it's, I don't know, there's ways they can do it. I just don't really see the vision, right? Like we saw, no pun intended, I guess, but we kind of saw the vision with
the vision's dead
up to Endgame, right? Like
but see, like exactly though. But Ricky, so we knew how the first phase was going to end, because they showcased the main villain way in like the first few movies, and here we don't even know. Like, I mean, I guess we technically do. But it's like they're not even getting close to showing.
Well, because like we had like the Celestials, and then I thought like maybe Galactus or something was going to show up.
Okay, yeah. Like, so again, but you didn't watch Loki, right?
No, I didn't watch Loki. I didn't like the first
okay, so what happened in that
it.
one showcased the Celestials and like potential like Galactus, and like what the heck? What happened to that? Like all these TV shows are not like, they're saying, hey, here's the big bad.
Yeah, because remember they shut off the Skrulls too, and then Nick Fury was off world, and then and then Nick Fury was off world and stuff like that.
Exactly. But like, what happened to that?
I don't know. It just I think the problem really started is they did all the way back is that they did Civil War too early. That's what I think. I think they did Civil War too early, and so they caused that like splinter, and then
that's where the multiverse really started, the Civil War.
Well, I just felt like after Civil War, things kind of felt like a little like iffy, and I think especially because like they have to change things around, especially because like what happened like with Black Panther. Now we don't have a Black Panther, and then so now I don't know if they intended to make him more prominent or tied in and stuff like that. So I don't know if like, oh, now they have to kind of shuffle that around. Okay, how's this going to affect the Marvel universe? And then I think some of the decisions they've made up to this point, it's just kind of like, oh shoot, like I think it's coming back to kind of bite them, where it's like, because now they can't do Civil War again. You can, but then it's like, well, you're doing the same movie twice, and then because it's just, well, we don't have an Iron Man or a Captain America, now. So then, like, who's gonna fill that void? And then, especially that the direction they took Spider-Man in, and then it's like, okay, everyone kind of forgets who Spider-Man is, right? So it's just, it starts to like, I think they're kind of putting themselves into a corner because they're like, okay, so we don't have this character now, we don't have that character, and then now we got to reintroduce this character, and I think that they're kind of trying to line things up, and I think just because due to the size and the complexity of the Marvel universe, we're starting to kind of like see the gaps.
They screw themselves up.
And because the pace that these movies are coming out, like that's tough, man. Even for Kevin Feige, right, man. Like, I think it's tough to try to get everything to line up because there's probably executives breathing down his throat. We want these characters because we want the merch. We want to start selling these things and, the comic books. We're going to start this run of the comic books and we want to try to drive hype. So we need to put out the movie.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So it's like, there's a lot of things that he's probably dealing with that I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because we've gotten pretty good stuff up all the way into this point. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to give Feige
so we're spoiled.
Yeah, I think, in many ways, we're spoiled, I think, when it comes to these kind of movies, right? Like, especially like, I mean, if you could have gone back in time and told me, oh yeah, you're going to like, as a kid, like you're going to see Spider-Man, and there's going to be multiple Spider-Mans all together in one different movie fighting, a gallery of different villains, and then you're going to have the Avengers all coming together. You're going to have like, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't have told me that watching like Spider-Man as a kid. I would have been like, what? And then even just a few years ago, like after Endgame, right? Like the idea of seeing Mr. Fantastic and like all these movies coming together, like no one would have like, thought about that.
I guess that's
like,
true.
Especially after that really bad revamp of the Fantastic Four.
Never happened.
I think also too, like just Sony screws it up, man. Sony screwed them up with Morbius, I think, and that Fantastic Four. Because if Sony would have been competent, they could have just folded that Fantastic Four in. You know what I mean? They could have been like.
So Sony should just not even make movies, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. Like, because especially after Morbius. What's the other one that they want to add?
Well, there's his name? Kang, or not Kang. Craven
the Hunter, yeah. They want to add him in, and then it's just like, stop, please. Like, you're not making good movies, right?
Just let Marvel do it, please.
Yeah, especially because like I think they want to try to tie Venom in and stuff like that, and I think that probably screwed them up too. Because Sony's probably like, oh, we want to tie Venom in.
Yeah, but that didn't even fall through. I mean, I guess kind of did, but
well, it fell through. It didn't really like they didn't follow through on it. Like it just was. Yeah, so I really don't know what the direction they're going to end up taking this stuff because it's like I'm kind of confused because like, oh, we thought we were going to see a little bit of Venom. Okay, no, Venom went back. Oh, but some of the symbiotes stayed. And then so it's like it's kind of like I feel like they kind of did that to be like, okay, if we want to use this, we can. And
it's like, why show it then, right?
Yeah, because that's true, but it's just a mirror, like it's just to keep the hype going, I guess. Man. And then we got Moon Knight, which just finished, right? I enjoyed Moon Knight, so
what does that have to do with anything?
But that's the thing. I think it's fine if they have like these kind of like one-off things that are off onto the side. They don't have to take place.
Yeah, I guess
in the grand scheme. I don't need everything to tie in together for the most part. Like I think like stuff like having kind of like these mini pockets, like what the Defenders was and like, the Netflix series, like, oh yeah, that's part of the greater Marvel universe, but they're just like doing their own thing here in New York. So I'm kind of fine with that because like, especially like a complaint that I had with the Eternals was like, so like the Celestials, like no one detected that giant thing coming out from, the ocean.
Nobody saw that in the ocean.
No one was like on planet, like kind of like, hey,
what's that?
There's a weird, Sora didn't kind of like, what's that going over there, buddy? Like that's a little funny, and so I think that's kind of like, it kind of starts feeling a little kind of harder to do like these big stories. And I think like smaller intimate stories, like are the way I think for a lot of Marvel, like, especially like with Daredevil, I really hope to kind of see like Daredevil continue to do his thing and that kind of having like street level Marvel, where like they're part of the main Marvel universe. They're there. They'll probably pop in a movie here and there, to drive some hype. But they're kind of like street level, like series. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's okay. I do really hope that they recast Iron Fist, though. I really do. I really hope they. I think
have to.
Luke Cage was good. Daredevil was good. I didn't watch. Was it the Jessica Jones one?
She's
I didn't
good
watch
too.
it.
I liked her a lot.
I didn't finish watching Punisher, but I really liked. I can't remember the actor's name, but I did like him as Punisher.
Also, very good Punisher. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that having like a street level version of Marvel, having kind of like a planetary version of Marvel, and then kind of having like a universe Marvel is probably going to be the way to go. That they're going to have to try to learn to break that like into sections, right? So like you have Captain Marvel, like and like Guardians of the Galaxy, who's doing like kind of like the Universal stuff, and then you have
Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy, because with the new movie.
Here's the thing. This movie, Thor's like, I feel like it's just gonna be a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I
don't even know why. I don't. That's maybe we should.
So that's what I was saying, because it's like I don't know what they're gonna do with Thor. So he's basically part of the Guardians of the Galaxy at this point. So that's what I'm saying that. And then you have like the planetary stuff, right? So you would have just pretty much like the regular Avengers rotation. Pretty much, and then you would have the street level fighters, right? Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Daredevil,
Hawkeye.
Stuff like that. Yeah, you'd basically have that.
I guess that might work, but that's still.
And you just have to kind of group that stuff together.
That's the hard part, though. Like, how do you make sure nothing gets scrambled or messed up, or the show says something but that doesn't happen in the movies or something? I mean, maybe that's why they're doing a bunch of rewrites, actually.
Yeah, that's why, because it's just trying to get everything to connect.
Nah, they're doing too much. That's my opinion. I think they should just not focus on the future.
They're like Icarus. They flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally what they're doing right now. It's like, fix this phase or whatever. I know you have like 50 million shows planned, but make sure everything makes sense. Then worry about the next one.
Like Shang-Chi, because like it felt a little more intimate, but it was like, at some point,
like,
I was kind of like, yeah, I like, I don't know how they're gonna like Wong, right? Because they're kind of like, I think it would have been cool. Like, Shang-Chi would have showed up.
Exactly, that's what I was waiting for, because they showed Wong in Shang-Chi, so it's like, so maybe he's gonna help him.
Because at the end, he's like, "Oh, I need your help" or whatever.
Exactly.
And I thought that was gonna tie in.
Exactly.
Like, oh, we need you to show up because Wanda. Like, that would have been so sick to see.
Because didn't they show the trailer for Doctor Strange after Shang-Chi? Or which movie was it?
I can't recall.
I don't remember which movie it was, because that was the brand, like the first showcase.
Yeah, but then again, like, it's just like, again, it's all hype. Like, how do you have so many characters like that, right? But I think it would have been sick. I think it would have been sick to have Shang-Chi just at least be like there to help them. Like, he didn't have to be like a super prominent character. But I think it would have been pretty interesting to kind of have him show up at least for that little bit. Like, but I think they knew, like, okay, well, you're pretty much killing them off right then and there. Like, I think that would have been. They probably maybe had the idea to do that, but I don't know. Because then again, it's just like, it's hard because you can't really please everybody. But
what if, all these Marvel movies should just stop doing cameos? Do you think?
What do you mean, like you stop having other characters appear?
Yeah, just focus
in, like,
on
the show,
whatever the title, whatever the title is. Focus on that character. Don't have 65 other characters showing up just to tickle our pickle. Like, if you got rid of the cameos for Doctor Strange, would it still be a good movie? If you got rid of the cameos in Spider-Man, would it still be a good movie?
But I think a lot of those movies hinge on having cameos. So it's like they're written around the idea of having these people come in, right? Like, because that whole scene in the other universe was to, like, show off Mr. Fantastic and...
But, like, do we need that?
I think they're cool to have, but I think, yeah, like, they do generate too much hype sometimes with speculation, and then you kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
Because that's what I'm trying to think of is like, if these movies can't these movies be specifically about whoever the character is, like their story, without having to rely on potential other characters that they could potentially make in the future.
Yeah, but because, I think it's just like, because with the Celestials, we're like, well, where's everyone else at? And then, Eternals was just the Eternals, right? And then there wasn't any other cameos. And then so I'm kind of complaining. Yeah, so I feel like there's a little give and take to it.
The original Marvel movies, I mean, they had like slight cameos, but those movies were like 12 out of 10. Right?
I think it's like maybe to like de-emphasize the other cameos, I guess, like where they're just not as important, where like they kind of show up and like you have them do some stuff and then they're like, all right, kind of like what maybe kind of like to the level of like Daredevil, maybe something like that. Try to incorporate them for a little bit like that, and then they can kind of go on their merry way. But I don't know. There's a lot.
I don't know. Is that your side?
Yeah, I was like,
you're under arrest. It's because I said no more cameos, so now they're looking.
That's Kevin Feige. That's Kevin Feige going to get me.
Preposterous. Okay, so here's the big question that I asked on Instagram: Doctor Strange or No Way Home?
I liked No Way Home better. I don't think you can really top No Way Home. I think like that was like 20 years in the making, dude.
Okay, but so then Mercedes brought up a good question. It's like, was it only good because of the cameos?
Yeah, it was good because of the cameos. Because you're starting to incorporate the multiverse and stuff. Because like there's problems with No Way Home, like story wise, but I think I really enjoyed it. Because it was a fan service movie.
True. But at the same time, it's like if you didn't have those cameos, you didn't have the great scenes with like William Dafoe or Doc Ock, and that movie would have been poo-poos.
Yeah, but they're good actors in their own right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
that's hard. But like Doctor Strange is like, if they got rid of the cameos of Professor Xavier, Captain Marvel, Mr. Fantastic, I think the movie would still be the same.
Yeah, I mean, if you left that planet out, and they're kind of just was more of like a generic multiverse thing. I think it's just because the way that they made the title and they hyped it up, and that a lot of the fan hype was left unchecked. I think that's kind of like what hurt it a lot, especially because of COVID and the rewrites, and that because they were already doing this before WandaVision already came out, so they couldn't connect the story together, right? Like there was one mention of it, and that was probably in the rewrite, and then where they were like, okay, well we should acknowledge WandaVision. Right, and then that's it. Because they only acknowledged it, and then they went off and did their own thing. So it's like they clearly didn't know what was going on. Even Sam Raimi himself is like, I never saw it. So it's like,
but it's like, why would they have him directed? He's probably like, who's Wanda? I only know Spider-Man. I don't know. It's just Marvel's.
It's just J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
I want Spider-Man.
But it's like Wanda. I don't know. It's just I feel like the Marvel movies aren't really scratching my itch. I don't know. I mean, they're decent movies, but it's just like
there is exhaustion kind of from all the Marvel movies coming out. I do think it would benefit to kind of slow down how many are coming out. I think what would even be better is that if they kind of fold some of them into like TV series, so that we can kind of like, I don't know, just a little more breathing room, I guess.
Because Thor is out like this month, right? Or next month, right? Thor? Or July. Well, regardless, it's in the next 2 months. They should be like DC, where they only get one movie every 5 years.
July 8th, yeah. May, June,
so like
July,
2 months,
like 2 months.
I don't know, man. It's just like watching this after the Batman. Woo-wee. Batman was eons
So what was better, Batman
or...
The
Batman, by far.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I asked people that question, but like, you can't compare. I was like, yeah, you can. They're superheroes. Batman was way better. I mean, it was a different approach, different everything, but...
I felt like you got a lot of like, what's it called, Invincible vibes to it. I felt like Sam Raimi sat down, watched Invincible, and was like, I want to do that for this movie. Like the way, like she was One was basically Omni-Man just going around like
just killing everybody.
Just like that literally felt like I was like,
I don't care that you're a little girl. I'm still gonna kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be. That
kind of. I feel like that kind of wraps up the thoughts, though. It was just kind of. I don't know. It was good, and it was the good and the bad. I guess like the good stuff and the bad stuff, just it kind of flip flops even for some people. Some people they liked this and they didn't like that, and
I liked it because it was dark. That's basically why.
All right, but I think we'll wrap it up here today, and I would like to thank you guys for listening to this part of the podcast, or this far into the podcast, I should say. And if you enjoyed what you listened to, if you're on YouTube, we'd very much appreciate if you drop a like and a comment. If you're listening to whatever podcast streaming platform, drop a like, a 5-star, a good review, however it works on your platform. We very much appreciate it. And I think that's it. Yep. Oh, follow us on Past the Pop Culture. That's right. Yeah, on our Twitter at Past Pop Culture, pretty much all across Twitter, Twitch too. We've been streaming a lot of Call of Duty. Watch us like win randomly, not even realizing it. It's kind of funny when that happens. We've been doing that a lot lately. We're just playing casual, and then we're like, "Oh, we won!" and then like we'll go hardcore, and we just get smoked. Yeah, so it's just. Yeah, we've been having an interesting time. So if you want to check that out, we're at twitch.tv/pastthepopculture and at pastthepopculture, Instagram, Twitter, pretty much everything else. Follow us. Let us know what you thought of this Doctor Strange movie and what you're looking forward to. Yep. Okay, yeah, I think there you go. Now we're done.
Okay, bye.